Okay, good morning, California. And a Starbucks card goes to the person who can answer the rest of this sentence. If you have tears, anybody know? Anybody in California? If you have tears, it's in your memorization book. Okay. How about this one? Once more into the breach.
What about it?
What's the rest of that? The rest of that sentence. No one? So this, prepare to shed them now. Right. Where did you get that? Okay, good. So somebody was resourceful. Remember, last week I said you need to get in the habit of using the internet to find answers to any questions. Huh? Prepare to shed them now. Who said that? Who said that?
Julius Caesar.
No, Julius Caesar was dead. Mark Antony, right. He said that at Caesar's funeral. If you have tears, prepare to shed them now. So that's like this class. If you have tears, prepare to shed them now. Okay, so today we are doing Google apps, the Google app called Gmail. And for new people, what we do is the purpose of this school is to help you get employed. This type of school, this type of licensed school, a post-secondary school, its purpose is to get jobs, to give students the skills they need to get jobs. And the jobs that we get people are office jobs, which could be administration, customer service, accounting, or marketing and sales. That's what we do. So to do that, there's certain things you need to know. You need to know how to type, because you need to know how to use the internet. If you can't type, you're not going to get a stable and meaningful job in an office or in the warehouse at Zappos if you cannot type. Also, the future with the internet. The internet is no longer a fad. Does anyone think the internet's a fad anymore? Is anybody around my age when the internet first came out, they thought it was a fad? And it wouldn't take over everybody's lives the way it has? Okay. As an aside, just a little segue into something else. When the Father John, Jesuit from India, was here, does anybody remember what he's getting a degree in? Electrical engineering. What do electrical engineers design? No. What? Chips. Okay, mainly chips. Yeah. And so we had a discussion, and 20 years ago, the smartest people thought that today the intelligence of the internet would be located where?
On the computer?
No, it already is on the computer, but in daily life.
In business.
No.
At jobs.
No. On what things? Where do most people access the internet from today?
Yeah, tablets, smartphones.
Smartphones is number one. Tablets is catching up, but well, PCs is number one, but smartphones is very close. Maybe it has caught up. Tablets is there. Okay, that's where it is today. 20 years ago, nobody had the idea it would be on smartphones. 20 years ago, people had things called Palm Pilots. Or maybe not 20, maybe less than 20 years ago. But where was the main intelligence going to be located? It wasn't going to be on smartphones. Nope. They thought it would be on devices, like your refrigerator, your oven. The belief was that by this time, you'd be able to take your turkey, put it in the oven with a little temperature probe or something, and that would know it's a turkey, how big the turkey is, and how to cook the turkey. Okay, it would, all of your things would be automated, kind of like in Star Trek or the Jetsons. And So in talking to Father, the question was, what is it going to be 20 years from now when we look back and say nobody had any idea it was going to be that? Because remember, the smartest people were saying, all of your devices in your house is going to be intelligent. You just walk up to the door, it's going to know it's you. Stranger walks up to the door, it's going to look through your contacts file and figure out who's at the door. Your car, everything is going to be completely intelligent.
Yeah, that's scary. You're talking about retina scans.
Well,
They have that in buildings right now. You walk up, you look in the mirror, scan.
no, but that was going to be the standard.
I already have facial recognition.
Okay, no, that was going to be the standard. You're talking about technology that people have, that some people use.
Specialized.
The idea wasn't you're going to have a smartphone and it was going to have all kinds of apps on it. Nobody thought of that. The idea was the internet's going to be pervasive, but it's going to be pervasive because it's going to be everywhere on all devices out there. You don't have to do the parking meter the way you do it. It's going to know your car because it's going to communicate with your car. And it's going to be hooked up to your bank. And all of these things are going to be automated. Well, it didn't go that way. Where it went is the direction of smartphones. So the question was, where is it going to be 20 years from now?
Everywhere.
Where are today's experts we're going to look back 20 years from now, and the experts are going to say, wow, those guys really missed it. Because that's what they're saying today. Those guys really missed it 20 years ago. They weren't doing smartphones. But the point is, you have to know how to use the internet. To use the internet today, you have to know how to type. And it's probably always going to be that way because voice recognition doesn't really work. It's always about 2 months away or 6 months away from being perfected. What's the problem with voice recognition?
They imitate.
Like accents
Nope.
and trouble recognizing.
Problem is that microphones pick up echoes that we cancel out. So it's hard to tune a microphone so that it only hears you and not the echo bouncing off the wall of your voice.
That's what we have. I have a problem with that on the farms back at Casa.
The cell phones like that too. Some cell
Well,
phones are like
yeah,
that.
but those are better, and that's up close. When you have something that's not right up next to you, the microphone is picking up all kinds of stuff. They haven't perfected a way to have you just talk to your computer without having a microphone up close and then all kinds of other things. So it's not hard. So typing, just figure you're going to have to know how to type. But typing isn't enough. You need to know office skills. We used to teach, and in California they teach Microsoft Office. We don't do that anymore. Why?
Because it's a dark.
90%
Well, why don't we do Microsoft?
Because you can do everything with Google. Absolutely.
Okay, we don't do Microsoft because it does so much. In the first 6 months we were doing it here, nobody was learning it.
Mm.
Nobody learned Microsoft Office or Excel or PowerPoint because there was just so much to learn. And the tutorials were not easy for most people to do. So we then switched to Google Apps. And specifically in this case, Google Docs, spreadsheets, and what's the other one called?
Slides.
Slides. Okay, we switched to those. Now, Mike, why did we switch to those?
because people can do 90% of what you need to do 90% of the time.
90% of the time. So Google Docs, spreadsheets, they aren't as good as Word or PowerPoint or Excel. Don't try to defend that position with people. Okay, because you will lose. They don't do that, but they do 90% of what you need 90% of the time. And for the positions that we are getting people, they are fantastic. And then Margaret, what did you find on Friday that you saw was cool about Google Docs?
All of it.
All of it? Okay. What's one thing?
Skype.
Okay, so that was Hangouts. Google Docs was collaborative. Remember I described to you, you could be on a document, somebody anywhere else in the world, and I think Ray Shun should do it with his friend in Africa that he likes the Hangout on, or was that Ron? Who wanted to do that Hangout on air with the African guy? Do you remember the African guy? That was
The
doing a
African
hangout
guy
on
that
there?
was doing his hangout on there?
Yeah.
Yeah, what about it?
Okay, so you could do a Google Doc collaborative with him. So you're both typing on the same document in real time. And with Word, you can't do that. Can't do that in Word. So there are things you can do in Google Apps with Google Apps that you can't do in Microsoft Office. They do 90% of what you need 90% of the time, but they do some things that are really valuable and important that you can't do with Microsoft. So that's the second thing you need to know. First, you need to know how to type. And in here in this school, we spend about an hour a day typing every day, 5 hours a week for 16 weeks. You need to push yourself to get to over 35 words a minute, because in an office environment, they do not consider that you can type if you don't do 35 words a minute. And everybody can do it. And the way to do it is push yourself on speed, because what has to happen first is your brain and your fingers have to get in sync. So you're not thinking about where the key is. Once your brain and fingers get in sync, then you won't make typing errors. But if you focus on accuracy, you're not going to have the habit of typing fast. So when your fingers are in sync, you're used to driving in second gear. You're just not going to get that fast. So focus on speed. Just type as fast as you can. One day in the next 16 weeks, it will lock into your brain how your fingers need to get to the keys. The subroutines in your brain, or as Ray Kurzweil calls them, the modules, the submodules in your brain, will get it right. This finger is going to know when it sees an L, your brain is going to know to push this finger here, unless you're Brett. Okay, then you can't do that. Right, Brett? How do you do it? Oh, it's this finger, right? Yeah.
No, it's 3 fingers actually.
Okay.
He's doing this one.
Okay. So, so one day your brain will get in sync, push and go as fast as you can, because you need to get at least 35 words a minute. So you need to type, you need to know how to use Office. If they say, I need you to create a document, or I need you to create a spreadsheet, you need to be able to do that. One of the other great things about Google Docs is there's a lot of things called add-ons. What is an add-on, John?
An add-on is something that you can put in your, I don't know, in Google Docs, you said?
Yeah, or just an add-on, period.
An add-on would be like Google Drawings.
Okay, but just describe it.
Add-on is a sub-application from the main application.
Right, okay. So it's something that probably somebody else, some other company wrote as a little program that adds on to what you're doing. So in Google Docs, they have add-ons that, do you remember that, Margaret, when we did add-on? And there might have been 30 add-ons to Google Docs. So it could be templates, it could be things that make it easier to do. So once again, you go into a work environment and they say, I need you to do this. Your immediate thing should be, okay, it's a document. I haven't done one before. Let me go to add-ons and see if I can pull one up. And if there's 20 of them now, next year there'll probably be 200 of them, maybe 2,000. So we study really 8 primary Google Docs. What are they? Not Google Docs, Google Apps.
Drive.
Okay, so we've got Drive,
Voice,
Voice,
Maps.
Gmail,
Calendar.
Maps,
Hangout,
Plus.
Calendar,
Hangouts,
Plus,
YouTube,
YouTube. How many is that?
7.
7.
One more. Google Voice, is that up there?
That's up there.
Hangout.
Hangouts.
No, Hangouts is part of Google Plus.
Chrome.
That's a sub-app. So Hangouts is here.
YouTube.
Chrome.
No.
Chrome, exactly, right.
From the browser.
Chrome is the interface, right.
More
To
of a
the
browser
internet.
than an app.
Well, it's a Google app, but it is also a browser. But Gmail is an app, but it's an email app. Okay, so these are all things we're calling apps. Some of these apps have sub-apps. So in Drive, what is the sub-app of Drive that we've just been talking about?
Docs,
Docs.
slides,
Okay, right,
forms.
exactly. So some of these apps have sub-apps. And some of the apps over time are going to get absorbed into other apps. Like, we haven't done voice because Google keeps saying we're going to stop doing voice the way we do voice. And then you look on some of the stuff, it looks like voice is going to be sucked up into Google+. For new students and everyone else, but especially new students, if you master these, if you learn these, stable and meaningful employment is easy. Because all businesses, whether they want to or not, are being sucked into the cloud. It's like a black hole. It's not like a black hole in a bad sense, but it's like the great attractor. You're just getting pulled there whether you like it or not. It's like 20 years ago, not all companies felt they needed a website or they needed email.
Right.
Some people in here might remember before email, and the question was, do I need an email account? Well, who's going to send me an email? Does anybody remember those days?
Yep.
None of my friends have email. Why do I need an email account? Okay? So for people who don't remember those days, that was an actual thing. My kids have grown up in a world where they can't conceive of before the internet. Everything was always the internet. So businesses are getting pulled to the cloud. Why? Marcellus, why?
Because it's a way to get their business out to an whole world.
Okay, and what does that do for a business? What do businesses care about? What do businesses care about?
Profit.
Make
But
money or
saving
save
money.
money.
Okay, make money or save money. And what do they need to get that? What is the means for a business to make money or save money? Sort of, something more general than that. Think about Nick Hanauer. What?
Customers.
Customers, right. Businesses need customers in order to make money or save money. So the cloud, to Marcellus's point, the cloud helps you get more customers. It helps you to take your existing customers and give them a better customer experience. It enables you to meet expectations of those customers and then make their expectations even better. And once the expectations are better, then you meet those. It makes it harder for competitors to steal customers. So one big thing, virtually every restaurant is doing, all chain restaurants do it now. Small restaurants are trying to do it, and it's called what? What do all restaurants, chain restaurants now have?
Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi. Online order.
No, we're talking about to help them. Okay, that's a thing that helps them get customers, but think in terms of the cloud. Huh? Yeah, they have loyalty programs. Okay? I go to stupid Panera every week because I have a Panera card and I swipe it, and every once in a while they say, "Oh, you got a free drink."
What's it called? Discount.
Well, customer loyalty programs. All chains do that. Starbucks is probably the best.
Yeah, they're pushing.
And when you're thinking about where to go, it filters into the decision of, well, am I a member of their loyalty program? Friday after here, I had to go see a movie, the Stephen Hawking movie. Anybody seen reviews about that?
Yeah.
Okay. Not really too great. But then after that, we went out to dinner. And the question was where to go, so they wanted to go to BJ's. We went to BJ's. I walk up to the counter.
BJ's Bar
It's a restaurant.
on Eastern?
Yeah.
That's a bar.
It has a bar in there. Their big thing are the Pizzolis.
Right.
Okay. Food. And they have a bar. We went for food. So I walk up, there's of course a line. It's not 8 o'clock yet when everybody goes home. So, and the first thing the waitress said is, "Are you a member of our rewards program?" I said no. It turns out on their rewards program, if you're a member of their rewards program, you get preference for seating. So if there's a line, you say, "Yeah, I'm a member." Well, you go to the next person. You get, it's the other list. Here's the waiting list for members. Here's the waiting list for non-members. So instead of going to the bottom of this list, you go to the bottom of this list, which might be one group. So what do you think ended up happening to me while I'm sitting at my booth?
You joined.
I joined. I downloaded the stupid app. Okay. That's where it's going. Now, small places can't do it right now. They don't know how to do it. They don't have the people to do it. Well, if you master these things, guess what you're going to be able to do? Be able to do it. Brett is very good at taking stuff he knows and finding out a way to use an app to do it. Everybody can get in that position. What you have to do is commit to spending your energy learning these apps and put the bad habit things that you do.
Right.
Like what? Playing solitaire, poker, Facebook, okay. Sending messages back and forth, not taking notes, not remembering what we're doing, because it doesn't help if you take one step forward and one step back, or 2 steps forward and 1 step back.
You're in the same place.
Okay? You might move a little bit ahead. But the better thing to do is what Nolan Bushnell said in here with that experiment regarding the marshmallows, which was what? Keith?
Wait to get the second.
What was the experiment?
Oh, had kids had a marshmallow and told them if they don't eat the marshmallow, then wait, they'll get 2.
So they started with an experiment of a bunch of kids in a room. They gave each of them a marshmallow, and they said, okay, we're going to leave the room and come back. If you haven't eaten your marshmallow, we'll give you another marshmallow when we come back. If you ate your marshmallow, you don't get another one. So what do you think happened when they came back? A lot of kids ate their marshmallows, but that wasn't the point of his story. What was the point of his story? Huh? No.
Control.
The point of his story was when they tracked those kids to when they became adults. And the kids who had the ability to forego immediate gratification, they were the ones who were more successful later on. And if you think about it in life, it's like money, right? Most people live paycheck to paycheck. Why?
Because they stuck in their comfort
Let's say
zone.
they have stable and meaningful employment. Why do they do it? Why do they still live paycheck to paycheck?
Immediate gratification. As soon as they get
No.
paid.
No, because they know they're going to get paid next week. Okay, so I can blow all my check this week because I'm going to get paid next week. Okay, it's been a problem with people who get these pensions that they know I don't need to save money now because when I retire, I've got my Army pension. The president of our school grew up in Tulare, Middle California, a nothing little place. His dad was just a school teacher, nothing really high-powered, and so he grew up with the view of the world. You go get a union job, and then you get your pension, and you don't need to save money to invest, okay? Because your retirement is handled. So he went to West Point, still in the Army. He gets his Army. He will get his Army pension when he retires, so he'll get Social Security, right? He'll get his Army pension. He's a colonel. What should that be? How much should that be? If he maxes out.
It's half the base.
Huh?
All retirement pension here is like half of whatever the base pay is.
Okay, when they retire, their highest base pay. Okay.
Whatever, be it officer or whatever.
Okay, so he's an E what? What's that? E6? No, 06 or something? 06, colonel?
Yes.
Okay. So he gets his Social Security, he gets his Army pension, and he also works for the county. So he'll get his state pension. When you know that's coming, what is the incentive to defer gratification now? Why save? Why not spend all the money you get?
Be
Right?
smart about it.
Huh?
Be smart about it. You realize you'll probably still need more money even after you retire because you'll have overhead, rent, car insurance, kids in school,
Well, no,
kids in
but that-
college.
That's what people should think. But the way people do think is, I'm going to get paid next week. I'm not worried about my job. I'm not worried about my employer going out of business next week. I can spend my whole paycheck. I can go to Costco and buy a brand new TV because I don't have to worry that I might not have a job. That's the biggest problem people have. And that goes back to the study about people with the kids with the marshmallows. Another thing is the people who delayed eating the marshmallow, they were also the people who grew up and they borrowed money to go to college. What percentage of people borrow money to go to Stanford or Harvard or any Ivy League school?
It's like 90%.
Not that high. 75% borrow money. So it's not rich people send their kids to Stanford or Harvard. Yeah, they do. But most 75% of the people that go there have to borrow money. How much do you think it costs to get an undergraduate degree at Stanford, 4-year degree? Huh?
That's more like 60.
Say a couple $100,000.
Swear.
Okay? But they do it because it's worth it. Because they know they're going to make a lot more than that through their working career over the next 40 years. How many people living at Catholic Charities would borrow $6,000 to go to school?
Probably
Eric?
zero.
Zero. Zero. Huh?
Right.
What?
Won't be able to borrow the money.
Like, where they gonna
If they
get from?
could.
No, you could.
If they could.
Maybe two.
In California, our program for people to go to school who don't have money, because they're not on scholarships there, is here's the deal. You come to school. We don't charge you. You just sign the note. If you get your own job, you don't have to pay off your school loan. It's forgiven. Because our job is to help you get the skills you need to get employed. So if you come to school and you go get your own job, your student loan is paid. If you don't and we get you a job, then you just have to pay 10% until it's paid. So if you get a job that pays $20,000 a year, over the first year you have to pay back
$2,000
$2,000. So it takes you 3 years to pay off your student loan
to pay it forward, right?
from a job that the school got. It's kind of a no-lose situation, right? Because if you get your own job, you don't have to pay it back. If the school gets you a job, is it better to keep 90% of the money from a job the school got you, or have 100% of $0 because you couldn't get a job, right? Because if you get your job, you don't have to pay back your loan.
Don't ask that question at Catholic Charities.
Okay, now, how many people said, I'll go to school under those terms? How many? No, in California. No one. Because they needed they grabbed the marshmallow now. You put the marshmallow out, no matter what their intentions are, if I'm not going to take it this time, I'm not going to do it, I'm not going to do it, I'm not going to do it, they do it. And then even when Sherry says to the people, if you sign this thing and you don't pay, you don't even have credit. So how are we going to collect the money? In other words, you really have nothing to lose. Okay? Because we can't collect it. Nope. Because they don't think the education is worth it. And that's the marshmallow thing.
There's value in this.
Eating this marshmallow right now makes me feel good. Waiting 10 minutes to get 2 marshmallows, I just can't do it. And as kooky as that sounds, That is a major driving force that we all have to overcome. So we have to have the ability to say no. And so, especially for new people in here, fight the impulse to not pay attention. Fight the impulse to be doing things on the internet that you're not supposed to be doing. Fight that impulse. And if you can do it, you will get much further ahead than if you're the person who can't. Because the person who can't, who's doing other things when they're at work, and the boss is trying to have a conversation, or the boss is trying to figure out who can I count on, guess who they're not going to choose? The person who's always doing something that they're not supposed to be doing, or not paying attention, or not awake, or whatever. And one thing that all of these TED Talk people have in common, they have laser focus to be able to get things done and do what they're supposed to do, because it was important to them. Remember when the doctor was here and he said the things you prioritize matter? Food, people don't prioritize food. What was his advice to do when you go to bed at night? Plan what you're going to eat tomorrow. Does anybody else remember that?
Yeah, with the dieting, right.
Okay? What you eat is important. You need to prioritize it. The way to prioritize that is to plan it before the next day.
That's why people set their portions off for the whole next week.
What happens, he said, is you go through the day, you don't eat right, you get home, you're tired, and then you just eat everything you can get your mouth around. So that's the high level. If you master these apps, you have no problem getting work. So this is the lifetime. This school for many people is the opportunity of a lifetime. This is the last chance you get to go to school in an environment like this. This is the last time. This is the opportunity of a lifetime. Now there's another video that we had last week, and the guy makes a point of saying, don't miss the opportunity, the lifetime of the opportunity. What's the lifetime of this opportunity? 16 weeks. And there's a lot to do in 16 weeks. You don't really have the luxury to say, well, I don't need to worry about today. Because it's really hard to learn all of this stuff in 16 weeks. If you're not here or you miss days, and even if you make them up, you're going to forget what happened 2 days ago. Because we're going to forget 70% of what we don't learn. So that was tomorrow you'll forget it. Let's say you miss tomorrow and you come back on Wednesday. What percentage of Monday are you going to remember on Wednesday? 70% to 30%. Or you're going to forget 70% of that remaining 30%. You know, you're now down to a very small percentage that you remember. And then you're going to spend Wednesday remembering the things you forgot from Monday, just because you weren't here on Tuesday. So always try to show up and do this. And now, today, so we're going to move on, but that's the highlight for the people who are new here and the people who are new in California. Knowing the cloud is what's going to get you a job. You can't get a job that we teach for, office jobs, if you can't type. But just because you can type, you're not going to get a job. You can't get a job in an office if you don't know Microsoft Office, word processing, you know, things like that. But just because you know that, you're not going to get a job. Why, Manuel? Why?
Everybody.
Everybody knows those things. And except they get to say what? I've been doing it for 10 years. So you need to know what they don't know. So our building blocks are you need to know how to type, you need to know Office, but you need to know what they don't know. And so for the people who've been here for at least 5 weeks, would you agree that you know things that other people don't know?
Hell yeah.
Yeah. They don't know this stuff. If you know it and can articulate it in the interview, guess who's going to get hired? You are. Or if you want to go in your own business. Or if you worked in a business like Miguel had his carpet cleaning business. When you know this thing, you're going to say, wow, I can crush everybody I've been competing with for the last 10 years. I don't need to sell it based upon who has the most tricked out van or who has the newest carpet cleaning equipment. I can do it because I can bring in more customers and make them more loyal to me, and I can get them to set up on a program that makes it easy for them to schedule it, or it's an every 6-month program, blah, 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 whatever you do. Or every 2 months, you know, every 6 months I'm going to do the carpet, every 6 months I'm going to do the draperies or furniture or something. And so I want to go to that guy's house every month. Have a strategy like that, like Harry's is doing for shaving. So, but it takes time to learn these things. And today, the app we're starting with, or this week, the app we're starting with is Gmail. Why Gmail?
Communication.
Okay, communication. Why is it important? Who said it's important? Okay, why is it important?
Is that the account that everything else links to?
You use it to set up accounts.
Okay, so one thing is, you can't use these Google apps unless you, all of the Google apps, and in the best way, unless you have a Google account, which is really a Gmail account. So, and the school issues you an account. So for the new people, think of this account as the account you're going to keep for the next 20 years. Once you're out of here, you can change your password. You know, anybody can change their password here except the people at Casa Grande. And you can change the password, but if somebody from Casa Grande wants to check and you've changed the password, it's not good. That's an automatic bus tour trip. So it's not worth doing. Yeah, so, but you want to keep that Gmail account because what you learn to set up and say your drive or how you customize Chrome, you're going to want to keep those forever. There's no need to set up a new account. Once you change the password, it's just as secure as if you have your own separate account. But think in terms of 5 years from now, you might have 10,000 files saved on your drive. And if you have been very consistent structuring your drive so you know where your files go, you're going to be very productive and very powerful. So one of the things to do, for example, is you take all of your personal records, your birth certificates, your kids, your college, all of this stuff, you scan them and you save those things on your drive. Have a picture of it on your drive. So if your house burns down, you have to leave the country, whatever it is, copies of your credit cards, all of your important personal information, you scan it or take a picture of it with your phone and you save it on your drive. And one thing works. If you have your loyalty cards, I don't like carrying loyalty cards around with me. I will take the picture of my loyalty card and show it to them on my phone.
Isn't that what Google
And then they can
Wallet's
look
for?
up the number. Huh?
Doesn't Google Wallet turn all your cards into one of those?
Well, that's a different app. That's a different app that we don't do.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Isn't the Gmail account linked to Larson Training? And if, you know, Larson...
No.
But that's the address of that.
Your address is Gmail.
But our account is Larson Training.
No.
No, it's a Gmail account.
Gmail.
Then
No.
what's the...
It's your name with the Larson
The
address.
company only matters
No,
if it's after the
That's
at
not your
sign.
Gmail. Okay, we issue you a number, and we create an account for you. We have numbers set up for all of our students that make sense. So here, it starts out LTCLV. What does that stand for, Veronica?
Larson.
Larson
Larson Training
Las
Center.
Vegas.
Las Vegas.
And then you
Las
put the
Vegas.
name.
Then your name,
number.
and what's the number?
Your date you
The
started.
date you
The
started.
started.
Okay?
And year.
In California, it's LTC. Dot.
CA?
No, because it was first. We didn't have this. So it's just LTC dot your name and the date you started. Okay, that is a Gmail account. We just set it up for you. But when you leave, you just have to change your password.
And you know, if Larson were to fall off the face of the earth, everything would still be constant.
Correct.
Yeah, the cloud doesn't leave.
Now, one of the benefits, I think I know where you're going, is collaboration. So my Gmail, my Google account, Sherry's and staff, ours isn't at gmail.com, right? Like mine is at gladiusbusinesscorps.com. That's a paid-for account.
$5 a month.
Okay, $5 per person per month. What you can do, what I can do, is you can share folders on your drive. So let's go back to a family thing. You have all of your IDs, your kids' birth certificates, their elementary school diploma, their middle school diploma, their report cards, all of that stuff. You just scan it, you put it in your folder, and you share that folder with your spouse. And you have a kids folder. You share the folder with your kids. So you have one folder that has all of your kids, let's say,
Your immunization shots.
yeah, all of that stuff. You know, if you were really obsessive compulsive, you'd scan all of your kids' papers, all of their drawings and stuff, right? Because you don't want to carry these things, every piece of paper around for 50 years. But you could save them into your drive, and you can share that drive with other people. So like one LTC LV is a drive that is shared with everybody here. We control that, so people who drop out, guess who's don't get to see that?
Right.
Okay, they don't get to see that. On your account, your Gmail, everybody's Gmail account, you have the same ability. If you share a folder or file with somebody, you have the ability to unshare. So anything that you have on your drive is yours forever. We can't get to it. We can't see it unless you share it. Okay, and that's a very powerful tool. And for businesses, that's extremely powerful. You can save a lot of money if you have a folder for, let's say, all of your legal documents, and you share that folder with your attorney. You don't have to waste time sending stuff to your attorney because he knows where to find it. And he doesn't have to waste time with you. Or if you're on the phone, instead of him emailing you a contract and saying, okay, read it and then get back to me, you set up an appointment, you're both looking at the contract and you're going through it with them right then. What does this mean? It's much more efficient for everybody. But Gmail is the starting point. And the reason it's the starting point is because it's the second app that Google did. What was their first app?
Chrome.
No.
Oh, no.
Search. Who said that?
Keith.
Keith. Search. That's how Google started. They created a unique search algorithm. They did something that was different than Yahoo, than Microsoft, than Netscape, than anybody, AOL, anybody at that time. They came up with a better way to search. And then they dominated that field, and they said, well, what can we do to get more eyeballs? Spending more time every day. Because they have a Yahoo account, but if they want to search for something on the internet, then they go to Google, they do a Google search, but then they go back to their Yahoo. Let's have our own email service. So I think it was in 95 or 94 they came out with Gmail. And it was unique in that they gave you, like, I think 1 gigabyte storage. So we start with Gmail because we have to give you an account, and because to this day, the most common way that people communicate with each other than verbally, is what? Email.
Emails.
But that's not the best way. It's just the most common way. When I talked to Father John, I don't know if anybody remembers him saying, if you want to get a hold of me, please just email me.
He didn't know what Hangouts was.
Of course not. That's the beauty.
He never used it.
Huh?
He never used it.
Right. No, but he doesn't want people to call him on the phone. He said, don't call me, send me email. I said, well, Father, in the ranking of voice, texting, email, how do you rank those? He said, I prefer email. Second would be texting, and third would be voice.
For real?
Yeah. I don't want people calling me.
He's
It's
like,
not
"Oh."
convenient. Okay? It's an interruption.
Yeah.
Okay, I have to check my phone because just in case President Obama calls, I need to answer that call.
Is that right?
No, because I have 3 young girls in school, and if the school calls, I need to be able to answer it.
Phone call you don't want to hear, they're in trouble.
Correct.
Right.
Yes, Danielle.
How secure is the cloud?
The
Took
cloud
like
is
60 minutes
well.
last night.
It depends.
Yeah.
Okay. The answer is it depends. If you are the White House, they have constant people trying to hack in and attack the White House. There are, I don't know, I wouldn't be surprised if the Chinese government was paying 10,000 people trying to hack into key strategic places, like power plants,
Right.
things like that. If you are a high-profile person, you have people who are smart trying to hack into your account.
For sure, for sure.
If you're me or you, it's not anything to worry about.
Yeah, but since we're bringing this to a business, and if that's one of their questions, how could we cover
The
that?
the answer is it's completely secure. You don't have to worry about it. What you have to worry about is people writing their passwords in a book. Because once you get in through an employee, then you can do the damage. If
Yeah.
somebody wants to get into a business, they're not going to hack into Google.
Right.
They're going to call the janitor up and say, hey, you know what, here's $100. Can I have the garbage bag? Just give me the trash.
All right.
I'm going to go through the trash. The big problem in San Diego, when I think 15 or 20 years ago, people were going through the trash at restaurants to get the credit card receipts out. Do you remember that?
Yep.
It was a huge
Yeah.
thing. Credit card fraud. The number one, and this is in the days when you had those carbon things, and most people
Yep.
didn't rip them up.
Yep.
So people would go through the trash, pull those out, and get the credit card information,
Mhm.
and then charge other things. So for purposes, for anywhere we go, it's secure. The thing that is not secure is people not keeping their email accounts, their username and password secure. And then once somebody gets that, then now you can start doing a lot of things. Okay, so what we were going to do today is get your Gmail set up, but we only have a minute to go. So we'll talk about, anybody have any questions? Or Dennis in California questions? Yes, Kevin.
Well, just real quick. Google Plus, is it really kind of the same thing as kind of competition to Facebook?
Okay, good question. So in some ways it is.
Of Facebook, and that's why they set it up in the first place?
In some ways it is like Facebook in that it's social media, a way to get with your friends. But it's much more set up for business, to treat people who do business with you as friends. And that is called what? In Google Plus. Circles. Okay, so if you go to work, so like Miguel could have a circle that's current customers. All of your current customers, you create a circle. Then you post one thing on your circle, and the only people who see it is that circle. You have another circle called prospective customers, where you make them an offer they can't refuse. First job is free. You don't want your existing customers to know that, right? Why? Because they're going to want it. But they're already paying you, so you don't need to give them free. But you don't want them to feel like somebody's getting a better deal with them, because they say, wait a second, I'm a loyal customer. Why is this other person getting a better deal than me? And so you have prospective customers in another circle. So you send something to them, and only they see it. And then it gets even better because you set up in voice an answering message that anybody that's in this circle hears that message. Anybody who's in a prospective customer circle hears a different voicemail. So if you're a prospective customer and they call you, same number. The system knows who's calling, and they'll get a message that says, "Hi, this is Miguel's carpet cleaning service. Because you're not a customer, we have this great offer for you. That's probably why you're calling us. Just leave the time when you want us to clean your carpet or whatever." If one of your existing customers calls, they don't hear that message. They hear a message that says, "This is Miguel's carpet cleaning. You're one of our loyal customers. We're anxious to do business with you. We'll get back to you within 5 minutes. Tell me what your emergency is, or if you want to schedule something, just tell me the time and place, and we'll make it happen. If we can't do that, we'll call you back." That's really powerful, right? Then you have a circle for lost customers. They used to be a customer, but now they're not. At General Electric, one of the most important jobs at General Electric is customer service people. Dealing with people who have complaints. Why?
Take care of myself.
No. They're already doing that.
You want to bring it back?
If they call and you satisfy their problem, there's about an 80% chance you can sell them something else. So at GE, customer service is really sales. They want people to call who have a complaint, because they say, if we fix that complaint, and then what are you going to go do after that? What are you going to say to your friends?
Take care of it.
Exactly. Here's what I got from GE. I trust them completely. I had a problem, they answered the phone, they took care of the problem, and they made me a special offer on this other thing. So you'd have a circle for lost customers. Well, a lot of people do.
All the way
Smart
from
people
India.
do that.
India, you talk to somebody and they're like, "Yep," and get to figuring out
Okay,
what's
well,
the
how
problem.
about, so there's Hulu, right? What's Hulu?
Television.
Television. What do you think they do if you try to cancel?
Everything you possibly
Yeah.
can.
Well, specifically what?
A chat pops up.
No?
No, they give you
Email reminders.
no, they give you
Option or something else?
a
They
deal.
say, we'll give you the next 2 months free.
Right. They,
Oh,
Just don't cancel. And then they send you an email confirming it.
because I had problems when Hulu first came out. I had problems with Breaking Bad season 2, episode like 5. The streaming was messed up, and I was buying them for $10.99 for each season. So they gave me the whole rest of the season for free
Right.
because the streaming was bad.
And then you told everybody Hulu, you don't need to worry about Hulu.
Shit, everybody got my mom. Everybody got Hulu
Yeah.
now.
So this stuff is possible because of the cloud. Now, it used to be you had to be a large company to do it. With these Google apps, you can do this stuff and the add-ons, but you first of all have to learn it. And it starts with Gmail. So tomorrow what we're going to do is we're going to fine-tune our Gmail accounts so that they are professional, because the Gmail account you have right now is set up the same as everybody else's. But after tomorrow, it will be tuned and customized for business purpose, because there's a lot of features that people don't use, and that's what we're going to do. But right now, it's break time. Thank you. In California, Dennis, were there any questions?
No, we're good. Thank you, everyone.
Okay.
Pretty much
Please make sure you get me the email addresses for everybody.
working on it right now.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye.
Am I gonna take?
I break.
Yes. Thank you, Danielle.